So you're in a relationship. When do you call it quits? How long is too long? And who are you doing it for anyway? Hi, my name is Rick Higgins. This is episode 4 of Relationship Killers, a limited series where we're basically walking down the path of my history, and hopefully both of us are going to learn something from it. Now, I'll give you a little background. I've been married twice. I've been divorced twice. The first time was 13 years. Second time was 10 years. I can honestly say that both of them were years too long. Now, I have to be somewhat careful, and I want to be, because there was another person involved in these experiences, these marriages, and I have to respect them. They have their side, their understanding, and I don't want to air dirty laundry, but I do want to use them as an example. Now, I'm going to kind of focus on the first one because I also had kids during that first one. 13 years is a long time. For me, the bigger question wasn't when was to leave, but when to start. I actually tried to walk out of my wedding. An hour before the wedding, I actually had to leave. I was heading out the door of the hotel when both my father and the guy who was marrying us grabbed me, took me to the bar, and convinced me otherwise. So I had an inkling early on that this may not have been the best decision. But decide that I did, and commit to that I did, and to death do us part I did promise. Now, those weren't just words. I did try to work on this relationship, and I think she did too. But at some point, you have to realize you made a mistake. Now, maybe that should have been before I had children. Maybe it should have been at some point while we were having children. We could have discussed this better. Instead, it became a great big, horrible, ugly thing, which dragged into a great big, horrible, ugly divorce. I think it could have been managed better if just simply I understood when was the right time to do what. Now, all of this also leads into the whole after party, if you will, of what happens after the elation kicks in when you decide to leave and you're free, and then you get walloped upside the head by guilt and sadness and what ifs and could haves and would haves, because it's not something I can answer for you. It's not something this video can tell you, but it is something that I encourage you to think about. If you're in a relationship considering ending it, think about the why. Who are you doing it for? Is it because you never should have started it? Is it because you have some insurmountable problems that you just can't climb on top of? Then maybe it is time. Are you sticking together purely because your religion says you should, or you don't want to disappoint family, and this is the hard one, you've got kids. It's hard on kids. Trust me, it is really, really difficult and horrific for kids. But sometimes if you can manage it right, it can be a good thing for the kids as well, because what are you showing them? If you're showing them that a normal relationship is what you got, and what you got ain't grand, then you're not exactly teaching them right. The difficulty, this is experience. If you do decide to leave because you want to show your kids something better, make sure you're both on board, and make sure you work twice as hard at that, because they're not going to see it unless you just ram it right down their faces. Show them what you mean to show them. Don't just hope they get it. And I guess the final advice is, if you have been in a past relationship, ruminate on this. Why did you leave? And I'm not saying that because you're going to have to figure out when your next relationship is going to end, because I hope your next relationships last a good damn long time. But there are things to learn from it. If you look back at your timing and what you could have and should have done and when and why, it can leave you some ideas on what it is you want in a relationship and how to really just avoid that whole road to begin with. So there you go, another episode. We got one more left in the series. And with that, I'm going to say the usual: be a pirate, go wander, but be safe, be healthy, be happy, and we'll see you next week.